finding it a bit tricky, haven't we, to identify a goal together for what we focus on in therapy. So I wondered if this might help. What I've got is lots of bits of paper with just some kind of brief descriptions of different problems or different goals that sometimes people in the past in therapy have found helpful to work on. So I thought it might help us generate some ideas for what might be relevant to you.
Okay.
So, say if I spread these out, I might also give us some ideas, because sometimes it's hard to know what kinds of things therapy might be suitable for if you've not experienced it before, so it might generate some ideas.
Okay.
So see, we've got all these bits of paper here with different kind of descriptions on them. I wonder if it might make sense, if there's any that pop out at you that you think, yeah, that's a definite yes, that's something that's relevant to you. Maybe we could have a yes pile.
Okay.
And then maybe a definite no pile for things that are not relevant to you. And something in the middle, a maybe pile, if you're just not sure, but you think maybe. So would you just like to have a look at these and...
well, I don't take drugs anymore or alcohol. Haven't been doing that for a few years, so that's probably not really that relevant to me at the minute.
Sure. So this one on destructive behaviours, that's for the no pile then. So do you want to pop that in a no pile?
Whereabouts should I put no?
Wherever you feel, really. Put that on the left.
Okay. Well, I guess that one, like how much I believe what the voices are saying is true, that's quite a big thing, because, they tell me really horrible things, and I really believe it as well. Like, we say that like I'm evil and stuff, and I really believe that. Like, am I evil? I don't know.
Gosh,
I really believe that.
That one sounds really important then.
Yeah.
Is that one for the yes pile?
Yeah.
So should pop that on the right.
So should that kind of be over here, away from that then?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay. And this one as well, like taking care of myself, like, because I haven't been able to shower recently, and I know I'm kind of getting behind on the housework, and things are kind of piling up, and that kind of makes me feel really rubbish, really.
So just taking care of yourself one about being able to shower and tidy up and things, is that a priority for you, would you say?
Yeah, I think so, because it's it's really getting me down, that. Okay.
So yes one. Does that link to this stuff as well?
Yeah, it does actually, because I can't really go out at the minute, and I'd love to be able to go shopping and not worry about going outside or worry about people looking at me or anything. That'd be really nice to be able to do that again, and I just don't feel like I can at the minute.
Is that one on regaining life functioning and sort of doing chores? Is that a maybe or a yes, would you say?
I'd probably say that's a yes, really, yeah. Okay. Well, just with this one here, sleep, my medication knocks me out pretty well anyway, so I don't, I can't really do much about sleep at the minute, so I'm not really sure whether, that's that important to me.
It's not a priority for you at the moment, so
not really.
Is that a no then?
Yeah, okay. With like loudness of the voice, I'm not really sure about this one, because I know it's, has an effect on me, if you know what I mean, but it's more about what they say than how loud they are, because they can be quite quiet sometimes and say the same things, but then they can be quite shouty, and however loud it's going to be, it's just going to upset me. So I'm not really
It's more about the content as well as even whisper nasty things.
So, but I don't think it's not needed or like to look at, but I don't think it's quite as much as the other. So maybe that should that go in the middle?
That would make sense. So it's a maybe for that one.
Okay. I think it's probably the same with how often, again, because I might not hear them for like an hour or so, or then they might happen for a couple of hours. But even if it's just one little comment, I can think about that I can just
Okay.
keep thinking about it, and I'm not really able to stop thinking about it
Okay.
then. So again, like the loudest doesn't really matter, it's still there, and what they're saying to me that really upsets me.
So it's something more about your response to them and thinking about them, or something about that, rather than the frequency of the voices, is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me, yeah.
Should we, where do you want to pop the frequency one?
Maybe put that one next to that one.
When you were saying about thinking about them, and I'm not sure if that taps into this, something about how much control you have.
I don't feel like I have any control at the minute. No, I don't really think I do.
What is it that you don't feel you have much control over? Was that the thinking, or was that other things?
Yeah, the voices, I can't really stop them at the minute. You know, they just kind of come and go as they please, and
I
they
see.
just stay for ages, and I don't really feel like I can stop that.
So it's control over sort of almost when they happen, and when you have to listen to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe I should put that with that, because that
Okay.
kind of goes on with like how loud they are
Right.
and how often they happen. Relationships with family. Well, my partner's really supportive. He's been great, really great, and he's always there for me. He's always helping, and I don't think that needs to change. I wouldn't want that to change, you know. So I think I'll put that up there.
No.
Yeah.
There's another one about relationships as well, but this one's more about with family and
Oh, okay. Well, I would like them to be a bit nicer to me, to be honest. Yeah, they can give me a hard time.
yeah, I remember you were saying that they can be quite critical at times when you go see them.
Yeah.
Is that a priority for you, or is that a maybe?
Well, I can kind of avoid them really, can I? I don't have to see them, whereas I can't really avoid this idea of like how much I believe them, because the voices are there all the time, the family aren't. So maybe I should put that in a maybe pile.
Okay, that would make sense. You've got a bit more control over that one.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
It still bothers you a bit, but
Yeah.
pop that in maybe.
Okay.
What about this one, understanding your diagnosis? Is that something that you're interested in learning more about? Or?
Well, not really. I've been with the team for years now, and you know, they've told me everything possible about my diagnosis, and it doesn't really stop the voices from happening, knowing about it. So I don't really think that's really helpful. So I'll put that up there. Yeah. Anxiety. I think that's quite a big one, because that kind of stops me from doing the things that I want to, because I'm so anxious and so uptight, and heart's pounding, and I just I can't really do things.
And what is it that you're anxious about? What is it that?
Just what they say, you know, if I am a bad person, and you know, they say bad things are going to happen to people that I care about, and you know, I spend a lot of time worrying that's going to happen, you know. Is it going to happen? Are they going to hurt someone? And then I feel so guilty if they did, because that would be my fault. And yeah, it just makes me feel horrible.
So the threats and the things that the voices actually say is causing this anxiety, which is really difficult for you. Yeah,
definitely. And it kind of stops me doing all this, because I'm just worried and just sat there shaking, really, just worrying about it.
So it's making some links between some of these different goals.
Yeah, I guess I am, yeah.
So you were talking about the content of what they say, and whether the threats and things are true, and so they've got one here on negative content. Does that go in the yes pile and link to that, or does this go in the maybe?
I think it's probably more over here, because I mean, if I could change that, what they say, then maybe that would help with the other stuff.
So if we could look at the content of the voices and what they say, and whether it's true or not, it might help you feel less anxious, and it might help you feel more able to do stuff around the house and shower and those kind of things. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Well, I'm always quite low anyway, because like I said, the stuff they say to me is pretty, gets me really down, but I don't think a low mood is as bad as the anxiety, because that's what's stopping things more, so maybe that'll be there. They're quite the same really though, aren't they? But,
the two are often linked, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And I guess that also comes into how I feel about myself as well, because like, you know, the anxiety makes me feel pretty rubbish. I don't really know where to put that, so I'm going to put it in the middle.
So you can see how some of these are linked, and this will put how you feel about yourself and your self-esteem, which is still important, but maybe less a priority is the fear that you've got going on. So that's in the maybes. I wondered, so we've got these as definite no's. Are we okay to sort of sweep them off the table?
Yeah, I think so.
And I just, you were already making some links between some of these, and I wonder if we could have a look at that a bit more and just check that the maybes and the yeses are where you want them to be. So, can you, if we look at the yeses, can you see if any of these are linked? If they are, should we pop them next to each other?
I guess anxiety and, like I said, the low mood, that's kind of linked, and that also, you know, these two things make me feel bad about myself.
Sure, so is it that sort of, the anxiety kind of makes you feel low? Is it, I wonder how it is for you, but often people say is when they feel anxious and when they can't, and that often means that they're too scared to do things that they normally do, then that can grind them down when they're just not doing the things they would normally enjoy.
Yeah.
Is that how it links for you, or does it link in a different way?
I guess so. I mean, like, you know, I feel really rubbish that I can't, you know, just shower. Everyone else can. You know, why can't I? It's just makes me feel like I'm, you know, kind of less, you know, not look at other people and see how they can cope with everything and I can't, and it just makes me feel really rubbish.
So the fact that you can't do these things out around the house and shower makes you feel really down.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, everyone else can, but I can't.
So perhaps if we could work on helping you shower, that would lift your mood a bit as well.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah, I mean. Yeah.
So you were kind of this taking care of yourself and being able to do daily chores, are they quite similar, those ones, sort of these daily functioning?
Because even like showering is kind of like a chore anyway, isn't it?
Yes,
so
it can,
so they can kind of link there, yeah.
And so would it make sense what you're saying about not being able to do that making you feel low? Would it make sense to put low mood next to those two?
Yeah, because it is upsetting me that I can't do that.
What about these two? Do these two link the how much you believe what the voices say are true and the content of the voices?
Yeah, because, you know, I believe them. I wish I didn't, and I wish I didn't kind of trust what they say is to be true, but they must be right. They keep telling me it, so, you know, and I can't even shower, so I'm guessing, you know, they're probably right.
So you really are believing what the voices say are true, and then it sounds like when it gets you down, and when you struggle to do those things around the house, it just makes you feel more down and nothing seems to confirm what they're saying.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
So would it make sense to put what you believe and the content of them together?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
You said that anxiety was related to what the voices were saying and the threats they were making.
Yeah.
Would it make sense to put anxiety next to
because
the voices?
You know, what they tell me make me really anxious. Like, you know, I'm always worried about what they're going to do, or like, you know, what's going to happen if I don't do something they want me to do. You know, let someone like get hurt, and that's
what if?
Yeah, what if? Yeah, I just sit there and think, what if, and that makes me really, really unhappy and anxious. Yeah.
So when we look look at this yes pal, we've sort of got these two areas for now. How would you sum up those areas? So what, if you had to sort of sum these up in terms of a goal, if we start with this one,
Okay.
what's this area loosely covering here?
I guess it's about how much you believe the voices.
So this is to do with how much the voices and how much you believe what they're saying true.
Yeah.
And how would we list that one? How do you describe this one up here?
That's more about just being able to do daily things, stuff that I used to be able to do. Just kind of like little tasks around the house and out shopping and stuff.
So being able to do tasks around the house is one area, and another area is the voices and what you believe what they're saying is true.
Yeah.
We've got some stuff in the maybes. I'm just checking, do any of these want to move over into the yes, or vice versa? Or do some of these actually just link into some of these?
Well, I think like the way I feel about myself, you know, we said already, it just kind of make me feel a bit useless really. I can't even shower, you know, it doesn't make me feel great about myself, so maybe that should go there. Those ones there, they kind of look quite like they could be in this pile here because, you know, maybe I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah. These are about voices, aren't they? So these ones are about loudness of the voice, how often they happen, and how much control. And it feels like this is, it's more the content of the voice that bothers you.
Yeah.
You put this more in the maybe, but I'm wondering I don't know, what do you think? If we helped you evaluate how truthful the voices are, and if that helped you feel less anxious, do you think that if you were less anxious, there'd be any change in how loud or how often the voices happened? I don't know, is there any link between stress and anxiety and the loudness and frequency of the voice?
Well, when I'm really, really anxious, they are louder and they happen more. And I guess maybe if I don't believe them anymore, they won't be there as much.
We could find out, couldn't we? Could
or I have to ignore them, maybe. Because if I don't believe them, then maybe I don't have to listen to them.
So they would bother you a bit less, potentially.
Maybe,
if we could find that out together.
Yeah.
And do you think that would links anyway to how much control you have and what you were saying about thinking about them all the time and being quite preoccupied with them? Do you think working on this would help you with that?
Maybe. I mean, if I don't believe them, then I don't know, maybe it could affect kind of how much control I have over them, or maybe they just might not control me as much.
We can certainly find that out together.
Okay.
What about the relationship stuff, social behaviour? Does that stay in the maybe, do you reckon, or does that come over to yes, or is that...
Probably maybe, I can't really see, you know, because I don't particularly want to see my family more.
So we've got these two goals here, Lucy, what you said, to do with the voices, the content and how anxious you feel about them. And then we've got these loudness and frequency and how much control you have as a consequence of these voices. So voices is one area, and practical functioning around the house as another area, which has a knock-on effect on your self-esteem. Would it make sense now, since you've got voices and doing stuff around the house, would it make sense to set some goals in relation to those areas and try and figure out exactly what you want to achieve?
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense. So,
worth a go. Yeah.
Is it right then that have we got two goals here? Would you say?
Yeah, because they're not really related to each other. You know, it's like working on stuff inside the way I think about
Mhm.
my voices, and then that's more like outside, like what I'm doing.
The stuff that you do. And
Yeah.
which one of those takes priority for you at the moment? Which one shall we start goal setting for?
They're both quite high on priority, but maybe the voices, the start with the voices.
So, you mentioned that the voices say threatening things and say bad things about you to make you feel anxious.
Yeah.
What is it that you'd like to change in relation to the voices? Is it that you want to feel less anxious about them, or is it that you want to change how much you believe what they say, or which
Both,
one of
really.
these? Yeah.
Yeah, both.
Okay. So, how anxious are you at the moment in relation to the voices? If you had to rate that from sort of 0 to 100?
God, it'd be really high. Probably around 90 to 100. Yeah, really high.
It's really intense.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's because if it does come true what they're saying, you know, I care about my partner, and you know, I don't want anything bad to happen to him. So yeah, that's quite big. Yeah.
And you mentioned something about the threats that the voices make. You said that they threaten to harm your loved ones.
Yeah.
So how much at the moment do you believe that the voices do have the power to harm your loved ones?
I don't know how they do it, but it doesn't stop me thinking, what if they do?
Yes.
You know, I don't really know how that would work,
Mm-hmm.
but I just know that if it did, you know, I can't really afford to take that chance that they're not right. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly very frightening for you and very risky.
Yeah.
It sounds like if you're feeling very anxious, it sounds like you're fairly certain that this is a possibility.
Yeah. I'd say about 80. Like I said, I don't know how it would happen, but I'm just too scared to kind of ignore it completely and not trust it. Yeah. Probably about an 80.
So I guess one of the things we could work on is finding out if the voices are as powerful to harm and finding it out together. In terms of anxiety, I'm just wondering, what would be a reduction in anxiety that you'd feel would be meaningful for you, that you would like to bring it down to?
Just even half.
Right.
Like, you know, it's 100%, just half. Yeah, that would make such a difference. I mean, obviously it'd be great if it wasn't there altogether, but I've had it for so long, I can't see that. I don't remember what it's like not to be anxious, so I don't know how I could get down to 0. So just kind of half of it would be great.
Certainly that sounds realistic, because, you know, we all feel like a little anxiety in some situations, and sometimes anxiety is potentially adaptive and useful. It's telling us there's a danger and we need to stay safe, so we can't eliminate all anxiety in every situation.
No, you're right,
But I think that sounds realistic. If we could reduce by half, and you're saying that would feel meaningful for you, that would be a significant change for you.
Definitely.
Does that feel, I mean, we have a maximum number of sessions that we have together that we've discussed, and I wonder, does that feel realistic for you to achieve over the sessions, to reduce that by half?
I don't know.
Well, in my experience, I think it is. I think that's a realistic thing that we could work on.
Okay. Yeah.
And perhaps we could just review it along the way and review our progress and see if we're keeping in time with the number of sessions and what we're working on. So, if we had to sum up that goal in relation to anxiety levels, how would we sum that up? So what's your goal for?
Be less anxious.
And how much do we reduce it by?
By half.
Yeah, by half. So that's one of our goals.
Okay, yeah.
And how would we define the goal in relation to this one there, if we had to just state that one?
How much I believe? I guess not trusting them, not believing them.
Yeah. So you would like to believe them less?
Yeah.
Can we set a belief rating on that you'd like to reduce it to? Or is it just a case of finding out and seeing what the facts are, what the truth is? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a little harder, because I don't I'm still scared that I can't not believe them, you know, 'cause again, what if, but I'm willing to try.
You're willing to try.
Yeah.
So let's find out how true they are.
Okay,
Let's have that as an open question. Let's find out.
And maybe then we can see if I can make a rating, 'cause I don't know if I can now.
And if we find out that the voices are powerful, then I guess what we just need to do is help find other ways to manage your anxiety. But hopefully we can work out and find out in a more structured way whether they've actually, what's the evidence of that what if really.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Okay.
So, do you feel like we've summed this up okay? Or is there anything else that you want to say in relation to this goal? Have we cracked that in terms of setting a goal for that one?
I think so. I think the one about anxiety seems easier, but I'm not really sure about how I can believe them less, because they're so always there, but it's good. Yeah, I like it as a goal to try and change.
So I guess from what you're saying is, it's hard for us just to simply say, let's believe them less.
Yeah.
You can't just say it like that,
No.
as if we can just make it up.
Yeah.
I guess what we're saying, let's collect some evidence and find out how powerful they are. But in a safe way. In a
that
way
makes
that feels,
sense.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, that does. Yeah.
So shall we move on to the other goal?
Okay.
Would it make sense to do that now?
Yeah.
So, where are you at the moment with taking care of yourself and showering and things like that?
Showering, it's really bad. It's horrible to even say, but it's maybe once every 3 weeks or something. It's horrible, that, isn't it?
It sounds like you're a bit worried about what I think of you about that. And
it's disgusting, isn't it? I just can't bring myself to do it. Like, to get up in the morning, it's really hard.
It sounds like you feel really down on yourself for that.
I know, it's horrible. I know I should be doing it more, but I just find it really hard to do that.
Where would you like to be?
Just even once a week. That'd be better, wouldn't it?
Once a week? Yeah, that does sound reasonable. I mean, how does that feel for you? Does that feel that it would be meaningful and realistic?
Well, I don't think I could do it every day. Definitely not now. But I think just if I could do it once a week, it'd make me feel loads better. I mean, it's better than what I'm doing now, isn't it? So
that would be a meaningful change.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. It would mean a lot to me. Yeah.
Does that sound achievable to you in the weeks that we have together?
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I'll try.
Let's give it a go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What about the other one about chores? What was it that you said was the thing that was bothering you most that you wanted to change?
Oh, there's quite a lot. Like that. The house is a mess. It's a complete mess. But God, there's so much that I could do. But I think what annoys me the most is the washing up, because it piles up and it gets mouldy, and my partner, he has to work, and then he's always, I can't go out and shop, so he has to do that, and I feel really bad because it should be me that's doing it, and that's awful.
So is there a pile of washing washing up somewhere?
Yeah.
So I guess one of the things is it that you want to just get that pile down first of all?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't see myself having no washing up because it's just too hard. But if it wasn't showering and stuff, that'd be a big difference.
So would one goal be to reduce that pile, to chip away at that somehow?
Yeah.
Where would you like to be if we get that down? Is it that you want to be able to wash up after every time you eat, or what would be? What would you like to achieve in relation to regular washing up?
Well, I don't think I could do it every time I eat because I'm not eating regularly at the minute. it varies from day to day,
Okay.
and you know I might have something really late at night and then not feel, I'd be tired and have to go to bed. So I think that probably wouldn't work. But you know at the moment I'm not washing it for like 3 or 4 days, and then it really
Right, okay.
piles up, and then I have left it a week or so.
Right.
So
It gets harder to face.
yeah, no, exactly. So maybe just if I did it once a day, then that'd be
Okay.
that would help, wouldn't it?
So a goal to maybe wash up once a day at a time that you felt able to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
So how would we sum up that goal? So what's your goal in relation to washing up? How much?
Try and do it once a day, and it might not have to be all of it, but some of it, maybe. Yeah.
And is that realistic and meaningful for you?
It'd help,
Yeah.
make me feel better about myself. Yeah, it'd really help with, just feel a bit useless in a minute, so that'd probably help.
So you made a link there to how it makes you feel. So if we could help you with that, hopefully that, how do you think it would help you with this low mood and the way you feel about yourself?
I would have done something with my day, so maybe it made me feel better.
A sense of achievement, even though it's not pleasant necessarily, it gives you that relief.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
achievement, can lift your mood potentially.
Yeah.
So we've got the 2 goals now, and is it right that you wanted to prioritise this one?
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe we could start having a look at that one first and trying to understand what are some of the factors that are contributing to that problem and see what we